Nice talking. I'm staying here and sneak out.
Thank goodness I don't have
Right?
All right, so thank you everybody for coming. Next, hope you have been enjoying SharePoint Saturday so far. All right. Next SharePoint Saturdays are listed here. If you are interested, you want to go, these are the links. And today's, these are the user groups in Los Angeles. If you live in LA, you guys are more than welcome to join us in the Meetup app and join our regular meetings monthly. And these are our sponsors for today. Definitely, it's always help anyone who sponsors the events, all the goodies you get, also the lunch and location. You are in the session Office for DLP, Data Loss Prevention, Current Defects and Ramifications. Starting with who I am, myself Prabhat Nigam. I've been working with Microsoft, then I was Microsoft MVP. I'm a blogger, speaker, author, and I've worked for almost all IT giants in this world. Name it IBM, Accenture, Microsoft, Wipro, Dell. So I own LAEX UG Foundation, where I'm the CEO and I'm running the Meetup app. That's a nonprofit. You want to learn things, you want to donate anything, more than welcome. You want to speak if you think you have something to talk about, you're also welcome. I'm also CTO for my company, which makes some profit so that I can live in this world. Golden 5 Consulting. We are a Microsoft Gold partner in 7 competencies and Tier 1 CSP for government, commercial, and education. And we are located in LA, Toronto, and Mumbai, India. And that's my Twitter handle if Scott wants to follow me. Moving on. What is Office 365 DLP? Simply you will say data loss prevention. What are the type of sensitive data is more important? Which data is a considered data loss prevention data? So data loss prevention primarily differentiated by 3 categories. In USA, we are in US, so we're talking about US right now. It's same or similar in every country. It'll follow similar acts. If there is something related to US, that's only US. But if other things are credit card or PII or passport number, it all falls in the same category for different countries. This is only for USA I'm showcasing. So for finance, if you select DLP and select finance data, then it will select or give you 4 options with PCI data, security standard, US financial data, US Federal Trade Commission, consumer rules, and thank you. And US Grammarly Billy Act, GLBA, you might have heard about it if you work in security a little bit. And HIPAA, how many people have done the mistake writing HIPAA, HIPPA? Anyone? That's very confusing. Many of us write HIPPA, it's HIPAA. Careful about that. That covers 2 terms, PII, identifier and medical term. Then privacy considers a credit card, bank account. So U.S. Priority Act, you can select that. Okay, I just want the U.S. Priority Act to be blocked, and I don't want to lose the data of any individual. Then U.S. personally identifiable data. So this mix of all those things like U.S. credit card, U.S. bank, U.S. tax ID, or U.S. Social Security ID, and the U.S. passport. More, if you need to know more all about all sensitive information, then I've given the link. That's Microsoft's link, which describes all the sensitive data for whole world. That can explain more if you really need to know and learn what kind of data is there. Maybe your organization needs some more granularity, that okay, maybe there's a specific kind of data which is not listed, they want to use that, then they might have to see if they can customize the template and use that kind of a template. Moving on, data loss prevention configuration locations. In Office 365, there are 2 locations where you can go and configure data loss prevention capabilities. One is Exchange Online Admin Center, and second is Office 365 Compliance Center. So Office 365 Compliance Center is relatively new. Microsoft started with DLP in Exchange first, in Exchange on-premises first, and then they started in Office 365. And then they moved to the Compliance Center when they realized that they need the data loss prevention in SharePoint, OneDrive, and elsewhere, now included in Teams recently, like within 6 months. Question for audience: are you guys using data loss prevention today? Anyone? No? Okay. Are you using, I mean, that's Office 5, there's another one is non-Office 5. Maybe you're using third party. So, nobody? Okay. So at least two defects we identified. One was ICD-9 and ICD-10 reports, which are medical reports. If you implement that PII and HIPAA compliance in the compliance manager, the reports I'm going to show you. Reports will be coming, and they'll be coming in huge number. But when you really want to implement it, use it, that's a challenge for you, that how to write an exception. In medical term, even a word coffee is a term which falls under HIPAA compliance, which could be like any patient who's allergic to coffee. It's very sensitive data. It shouldn't be leaked. So in medical term, that's a prevention term. Like if I am allergic to coffee, I don't want to release or tell my friends that I'm allergic, I cannot even drink coffee, because that can raise more questions. What happened? Why you're allergic to coffee or something? So the DLP has to be proof and tell you that which actual term is causing the data loss or compliance falling there. That report was not doing that. I'm going to show you some examples. And then second is, if you are configuring the DLP in a compliance manager, there's no easy way to select bunch of users together and another bunch of users in a separate policy. So these are 2 highlighted DLP issues we highlighted. So looking forward for ICD-9 and ICD-10 reports. So this is a report from one of my customers' environment. So that's why I had to block all those terms where I felt those are the customer specific and should not disclose. But looking at this report, it tells me that there's a condition matched with the HIPAA compliance, but it is not telling what should I do to, either I should go and talk to the user, that's fine. But if I don't want to just say, okay, what I'm going to talk to the user, do what? What this user is supposed to remove? This report is nowhere telling me that go there in the document, remove a particular word. It does not tell me that. It just tells me that there's a sensitive information, and it's a kind of a phrase it will show you that this particular phrase or it has detected. So it doesn't really, it was not helping this customer. The moment we implemented, they got thousands of trigger every day. And for the compliance manager, it was really unmanageable to go to every user and say, hey, your document has something which is falling in the compliance, and we cannot allow you to just share the data. Inviting a colleague for coffee to discuss for the education, discuss the future syllabus. If that's okay, let's discuss in the campus cafeteria. That's pretty normal. But this is blocking that as well.
Shouldn't they block allergies of coffee?
Yeah, yeah, but that's like a HIPAA term is like very strict. If you see the
Those are
number,
predefined.
yeah, predefined. So that's template Microsoft has. So we identified that this report Microsoft is sending, but it's not telling us where to go from here. So we'll see what we did and what is now today. So apply DLP to two groups. That's second issue. I'm explaining the issue, what was the actual issue. I have to apply one policy to 700K users, and the other group is 7K users, so 7,000 and 700,000 users, two different groups, and I have to apply a policy. I mean, it sounds simple if they're part of a group, but there are limitations. 700K users cannot be part of one group. When you're synchronizing from your on-premises, the limit is 50,000. You cannot synchronize more than 50,000 as a member of one group. So you have to create multiple groups. If that's the way we have to do. Or if 7,000 we have to do, they can be part of one group. So the idea was it can be just apply one global policy to everybody, and that can be the priority 2 policy, but priority 1 policy can be only applied to 7K users. So the first hit comes, it checks policy 1. You're falling in policy 1, you are if you're within 7K users, then that applies. If you're not, it goes to policy 2. So that's the easiest way. But how to add those 7K users was still the challenge. So that's what we reported. I'm going to show you while I'm talking. One thing I cannot show is what is already fixed. So I'm sorry, that was my kid. So DLP policies, I wanted to go through a little bit here. So I've created a policy. This is in the Microsoft production.com. So it's Compliance Center, the new one, which covers all locations. So just to show you the locations with Microsoft is covering now. There's Exchange Online, SharePoint sites, OneDrive, and Teams chat and channels. So this is a new inclusion, because that means that it's going to save the data in Teams itself. Because earlier it used to save everything in Outlook or SharePoint. Now it's going to save this data in Teams as well. So moving on to the policy side, I edit the policy. What I'm trying to find here is how to bifurcate or add, where can I add the users to divide them to two different policies. It's not part of the policy. So I am going back to locations, because it has some exceptions, or choose a distribution group option. So in Exchange, you can choose a distribution group, easy. In SharePoint, because SharePoint belongs to one site, or maybe you have 10 sites, any number of users can use it. So SharePoint site you add, that's simple, that's easy. But when you go to the OneDrive, That's the challenging. So that's why I said specific to OneDrive. Because OneDrive does not find a user, let's say admin, or I think it's okay. So there's no easy way to find admin user to add or delete. So if I go to my
Sorry, Can
OneDrive.
you just ask, because I'm not really clear on, what are you trying to do by adding a user?
So we are trying to find a number of users we can add together in an easy way. Like if you are trying to apply two policies to two different teams, like 1,000 user one side and another 1,000 on the another. So one will apply only HIPAA policy, one will apply only finance policy.
Okay, I guess I just always think of it in terms of you're applying it to content, not users.
Yes, but content belongs to the users. So content are located in either your mailbox. So that's why the Exchange Online has a mailbox. You can select the
Right.
distribution list. So who is sending the email? It is on that. It's not like your data will be filtered. No, when you are sending an email, then it will be filtered and checked. Same way when you're on the SharePoint, it's a SharePoint site. It will be checked which file got uploaded, and if it has sensitive data. So if I share my financial data with my CPA, I get the alert that you have all the SSN numbers or EIN numbers or all the numbers in that data is it still fine with you. So I can go back and block it or something. But same way, SharePoint is like that. But when you move to OneDrive,
Oh, so you're looking for the OneDrive of the set of users.
yeah, set of users. So in this case, when we go and let me see my OneDrive here.
Can you not apply to everything? Or would you just-
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to show you a little bit. So OneDrive, if you observe the URL, it has admin at my domain. So this is a URL which belongs to my login ID. If it changes to Eric or Erica or Jasmine, it'll change the login ID here. In place of admin, it'll change that, and this will be the domain. So the URL is not common. So it has to be an individual URL, which I copied, and I paste it. Okay, I didn't pick up for. So now it found it. Now I can add it. So this applies to me. So this is the way, if you want to do it for
Yeah, I get it.
1,000 users, that's really painful. You can customize or you can configure in the PowerShell to do that, but that's the limit. So one policy can only hold 100 of these URLs. This is kind of a option, workaround, which you can work with, but not really feasible. This has to be more like what we are doing here, choose a distribution group. And everything belongs to their URL should be added by default. Microsoft will resolve on the back end and review and resolve it. That's what we think is better. This is an issue. I don't think I have any alert, but that's it. Okay. So I cannot reproduce the alert, but we go back to the PowerPoint. We can see the what the report coming after we in the new system in Microsoft's updated report now. So basically, the ramification for both was kind of like this, that for emails, use the email DLP, because email DLP is more granular. You can configure more things. It's much better. So whatever you want to achieve in the email DLP, there are more options. We can go back and take a look there as well. Same thing for other. If you have the email DLP, the emails can be scanned there. For other items, you can configure there as you can, and there is something which you cannot do. You cannot do for now. So we requested for design change with Microsoft. So now this is the report coming for the first issue I was talking about in the DLP ICD-9 rule. It says ICD-10, ICD-9. Both are picked up, and the report says context smoke and context drugs. So now the report is telling you what word is causing this compliance failure. So they can go and update this particular sentence to smoke, or something they want to remove or filter, or they can add exception. If they think it's a legitimate email, they want to allow it, they can add exception that smoke word should be allowed or drug word should be allowed. So at least now they know what is causing, they can use it. Otherwise it was unusable if you have thousands of alerts coming every day and you cannot allow the users, everything is getting blocked.
How did that get added? You just asked and they changed it?
Yeah, the whole design that Microsoft had to change. We requested and escalated Satya, and that change was approved, I think, in January. We escalated last year in November, and on May 30th, they implemented it. So that was a design change. Like I said, we are Microsoft partners, so we work very closely with Microsoft. And these kind of issues we report to Microsoft and try to get the design change approved so that consumer can consume it. The whole goal is you made a product, it should be usable. That's most important today, in today's world. You can see around, and if you are in the, if you have been listening, all kind of innovations happening, so many things are coming in the market, how to utilize them, I mean, everything is so nice. It's just not about a monthly payment is not too much, but how to utilize it more effective with that's more important. So this report is most change the environment, change everything. Now I am thinking that more people are using DLP, those people who were not using it. Now they have, at least for medical users, it was causing the issue, and for medical hospitals and other agencies will use it more.
It's kind of too bad they don't have a link to the policy, so you could just, like, if you did want to change it, because otherwise, how do you find that policy now if you did want to change, say, this first one for smoke?
No, the policy, it's saying detected this IC, International Classification of Disease, and policy name which is there. So the policy name which is there. I'll just
So you just have to go search for it or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, in any organization, the policy will be not limited number of
It's just a
policies.
link. It seems like an easy thing to add to make it easier to use, but whatever.
Yeah, it's not for end users to use. It's for
No, right,
administrators
but if I'm a compliance person and I
Yeah,
get like
compliance.
5,000 of these ones for smoking, all I have to do is click a link to go to the policy and edit it versus.
No, you should
like
not have
this.
5,000 policies. That's what I'm saying. You
Not-
should have like maybe 5, 6, 10, maximum 10 policies.
Oh, well, maybe I'm using the wrong terminology. When I say policy, I mean individual items. Like,
Yeah.
what do you call that?
Individual items in
Within the
the.
policy, so you have smoke and drugs. Those
Yeah.
are two different, what do you call
Well,
that?
yeah, that different
I was
context.
calling it a policy, like
No,
smoke is
no.
one policy.
Those are the exception
Exceptions,
words.
thank you, that's what I meant. So
Yeah,
if you wanted to change that particular,
you will have to add. You have to type that. in the policy to add an exception. The exception you have to allow as an administrator, compliance administrator, that okay, I allow this word, let it go through. And we'll go back to the demo. I'll show you that.
That's okay, I didn't mean to derail things, I should.
I think we have time. Okay. So any organization will have like 5-6 policies, not more than that. So these are the policies. When you go inside this, then you go and edit the policy, and then you see the policy settings here. Okay, this is the rule. Good. So here are the exceptions. If I go here, add an exception, except if content contains sensitive information. So yeah, I mean, if you go down, except is coming from a particular recipient, except the file attachment or document property, or except if content contains sensitive information, and you add that what it means to that. Probably add sensitive information type. And
I don't think any of those are gonna get me what I was.
yeah, I think you're looking to add the
Like
word.
for your example of coffee,
Yeah.
like, I was hoping that you'd be able to do like Boolean search so that you could have, okay, if you're already capturing anything as sensitive data that's finding allergy, right? We don't care about coffee in the context of, do you want to go have a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah, I know.
So how, is there a way to make it more specific, like coffee only in such and such context, only in the context when it's near the word allergy, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, when we define a phrase like this, I'm trying to do, is in the property, it's just as coffee, it should be something else. And like description of the document, something. That should be defined as a property, and then value. In the value, you can give the full phrase, the coffee space meeting, coffee meeting. That kind of thing. That can be the context. Because it's a document written.
Right.
There cannot be one context of one phrase. I'm inviting you for coffee. Would you like to go for coffee? Let's have coffee. Let's go to Starbucks coffee. Let's go to Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I love Dunkin' Donuts
Yeah,
coffee.
I'm actually thinking in reverse. I'm thinking of the things that should be tagged as sensitive and how to differentiate them.
No, that's ICD. ICD
Yeah.
9 and 10 are a huge list. I
Yeah.
can share if you want. That's
No.
Well, and, so what you're asking to read the context of what's being said, not just the words, that's actually quite hard to do.
Yeah.
So Azure Cognitive Services, that's exactly what it's for, is understanding the context of the phrase. Microsoft hasn't announced any machine learning for DLP yet. With their push machine learning, we can hope.
Yeah.
But they have, with Office 365 supervision policies, they have the first one, it's looking for offensive language, but it's not looking for keywords, it's looking at the context of the phrases, which is kind of a little bit related, I think, to what you're asking. So they've started putting it in other products, so I would say that there's hope it would someday come to this, but it's not something you can programmatic, do with
in the DLP.
if, then, and or logic. It has to be machine learning.
But I know, I got to say, this has to be this way, or you just decide, I want only these words. That can be custom policy. If you have like 100,000 word or 100 words or whatever number of words you have a list, and you want to say, oh, if these kind of phrases come and block it, that can be a custom policy that can be done.
I see.
But these are default, what they have a template, and the report is coming with the without a proper context. That's what I was trying to highlight. That was if you implement it and you have been failing to implement in the right way, your compliance manager is saying, "Oh my God, I'm getting so many emails, I cannot manage it." And now you can manage at least by understanding. Okay, this is the issue. Okay, I'm going to go add an smoke exception because this feels like right. Why do you feel need to smoke? This is a question, and it's not. It's normal. It should be okay. Moving on, more I described what happened with this particular context in the blog. In LAUFCD Foundation's blog, if you go and find DLP, you'll find this blog. Okay? So I'll be sharing this. I'm recording the session, so it'll be uploaded to my YouTube channel as well. So what do you guys think? Will it adopt will have more DLP adoption after this? At least one design change. But second design change, post when I discussed with Microsoft, what I've heard that they are implementing it, but not implemented yet, or they said, "Oh, implemented yet," or "We have implemented, but we have not updated you what we did." So kind of unclear. So what they said is create a policy, OneDrive, and add OneDrive user one by one, or once you hit the 100 limit, then create another policy and keep on doing that. So if we have 20,000 users that needs policy, the 200 policies you have to create and keep a track of it. That's kind of a thing which is more kind of a workaround, but not really easy. That can be done. It's not stopping you from moving, but it's not really effective for today's world to do that. Or use a PowerShell, which you can have. Yeah, that's what is Microsoft
I'm
does.
sorry that I missed the beginning. Why wouldn't you just choose entire location for OneDrive instead of adding them that counts one by one?
Because you cannot choose OneDrive location.
You can't choose the entire location?
No, you have, because every person has separate URL,
Okay.
which belongs to their email ID or login ID. That's what I was showing earlier.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry I missed the beginning.
Yeah.
I just wanted to catch up so I could follow the rest. Thank you.
So I was,
Yeah, I remember.
go back.
Thank you.
So if you see this URL, this is the OneDrive.
Yes, I remember.
And after this personal, this is if you see this highlighted, that's the ID, user ID.
Yeah, no,
So-
I got you now. We can move on.
So now, yeah, if every user will have that different, that will not work. I wish. What is that? That's what we were trying. That we can do with SharePoint. That's different with SharePoint OneDrive. That's kind of a problem. So we were trying to use this particular verbatim option Microsoft has in the policy and through the PowerShell. We were trying to do that. That is working in Exchange side, but not in the OneDrive and Compliance Center side. So we have been asking
Security groups or distribution groups?
distribution group.
Oh, that's why.
Distribution group. Yeah, that's why it doesn't work in the Exchange. I understand that, but that's kind of a similar thing they can give. At least they have. So what the understanding is, when Microsoft created a data loss prevention in the Security and Compliance Center, they picked from Exchange. The Exchange was the first to use DLP. So when they're picking from a working engine, they should be able to replicate everything what is there. They should be able to find a way to configure that same thing. So, yeah, we don't know where the change is right now. Any other questions right now? All right. So next topic, I think I'm done, really. Next topic is crafting beard in data nirvana by Aaron Cutler. Machine learning, that kind of thing, the next topic. What you're expecting a bit of machine learning? Next topic here. And these are my today's topics where I'm going to be If you have more questions later, you're more than welcome to knock me and ask me any question. So these are my favorite topics of the day. I was here before my session. This was very, very nice session before me. Sal gave a demo of creating a ticketing system. In the ticketing system, how to create a ticket with a bot and using the voice. So he was able to create that. That was awesome.
It's not loud enough and keyboard.
Yeah. But the next session I'm going to go is this one, which Chris is sharing. Is kind of important for California. You might be a business owner or IT. You should know these kind of things. Kind of very important for.
What is that? Maybe.
There's a new law coming, I think, in California. Privacy. I think it's privacy law. Specific to California. You would know, Erica.
What?
Privacy law for California.
Yeah, so it's basically like California's version of GDPR.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that on the schedule.
Not a nuanced answer.
It is there.
I believe you, I didn't see it.
Does that apply to you?
I can go and manage with that. Christine's session is also sounding good because it's a lot of.
Could be bad.
Yeah.
They're like bribing us.
But yeah, it's like you have so many things together. OneNote, To Do, Flow, Power BI. If you use all of that together, what comes out is kind of a unique and nice, and you would like to use it in day to day or office jobs and everything. Then Joel's session is awesome as well, using mixed reality for productivity. All right, thank you everyone for attending. I hope you find your language, but not sure. If not, then I'm sorry. And don't forget, once we're done here, we are going here for hairpin or beer.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it that long, but we'll see.
I know. I know my wife is saying, when are you coming? But yeah, ASAP. So, all right, that's the end of the day. Hope you learned something new and it will help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you start with single file, it breaks inheritance from